YouTubers get injured. They have medical emergencies, and Dr. Mike's not always there for them. But I will be in this video, so let's check him out.
Oh my God, no! This is so high, brother.
Sam, are you ready?
Oh my God, Sam, don't do it.
I'm gonna die, dude.
Dude, you're not gonna die.
No, that's not. That's too high. At least sit off the thing and jump.
3, 2,
Oh my God.
1.
No, why? Why are they doing this?
Oh!
I felt the coccyx go. Oh my God, do you know how bad you can destroy your vertebrae here? Like the bones that protect your spine, the discs popping. Oh my God, this forces you. And he landed on his butt.
So guys, I got pretty hurt, but instead of, just sulking in sadness, why not make a YouTube video about it?
I mean, you have to go to the ER and get scanned and make sure that you don't have a lumbar fracture. I would venture to say maybe even image more of the spine than just the lumbosacral area.
Apparently I did break 3 of those little discs in my back. So technically I did break my back, yay.
I'm assuming he means bulges in the discs.
About a month ago, I cut off the pinky and ring finger of my left hand.
Whoa.
This guard keeps your hand safe from the blade. I had raised it so that I could do tinier little cuts. That, of course, naturally puts my hand in a very perilous...
God, I'm just looking at his fingers and I'm so sad for them.
Then all it takes is for me to be working on some wood, I take a break for a second, get a notification, bing, what was that? Accidentally trigger it, and that was it. Immediately pain.
Yeah, so in a situation like that, you have to put really strong pressure and actually grab the fingers, not necessarily put them on ice, because putting them on ice could damage them as well. Throw them in a Ziploc bag, run to the ER, not literally run to the ER, but call 911 or have someone take you to the ER while maintaining pressure, because you could lose a lot of blood there.
So I grab paper towels, call the ambulance, 911, they're on their way.
Great.
Call Paul, he's downstairs, he comes up.
Great, all good first steps.
I'm just waiting here, holding the mess that is my hand.
And a little elevation would also help.
I reach down, pick up out of the sawdust the tip of my pinky finger. My hand gets an x-ray, my pinky gets its own x-ray. What the doctor has to say is that that little pinky bit that's covered in sawdust is not a clean cut, so it's gonna be hard to attach. There's not a lot of bone to attach it to.
Ironic that it's not a clean cut given how sharp the blade is. I think it's more of a lack of an attachment and because it's such a small part.
As for the other fingers, this one got sliced right through the tip, so there really wasn't much left. This one got cut up too, but it just needed to heal. I did lose the nail and some feeling at the tip, but otherwise it's gonna be okay. That first night was hard. They don't lie to you when they talk about PTSD, like that moment just replays over and over in your mind.
This is a situation, and again, I can't know all of the facts, so I'm speaking more broadly than this specific scenario. But when we say PTSD as often as we do colloquially, we have to understand that PTSD has a set of diagnoses, has a set of rules to make the diagnosis. Having a traumatic situation happen, having it replay in the short term, is part of the normal trauma response and not necessarily PTSD.
I remember counting down to 1, and then next thing I knew, I was on the ground and my arms were entirely black. These aren't sleeves, these are all bandages. They used to be all the way up, but this one's healing pretty good. The rocket launcher basically exploded.
Man, this is the second time we're reacting to YouTubers having a terrible issue with weapons. This goes to show how dangerous that is.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my God.
Dude, I can't even see my helmet leave frame. I know.
I mean, obviously, I'm concerned, forgetting about the burns, I'm concerned about the chest, the heart, the trauma from that aspect, the brain being absolutely rattled by that.
Call 911. Oh, what do we do?
See, like he's getting up. We needed him to actually stay down and just wait for help, support him and calm him down.
The first thing I saw when like my eyes met your face was your jaw definitely got like shoved somewhere it's not supposed to be. The lower part of this part of your jaw had like moved out and it was pushing your skin out some, and the bottom part of your jaw, what's that bone there? Is that the mandible?
Yep, that is the mandible.
The whole bottom part of your face was a bit sideways.
So it either shifted because of a fracture, the ramus here, or because it actually came out of its socket and it was temporarily dislocated.
So it started normal.
Yeah.
I mean, rocket's moving, we can see some propulsion coming, so it didn't instantaneously malfunction. Oh.
If it instantaneously malfunctioned, he'd probably be dead, I assume. And he had a helmet on, thank God.
TBI, a traumatic brain injury, a temporal skull fracture.
Wow, that's the side of his brain, the side of his head.
Causing a brain bleed. Cheekbone was broken in 2 places.
Zygomatic arch.
The jaw may have been like dislocated or misaligned. Anywhere from 10 to 15% of my upper extremities were 3rd-degree burns.
See, that's that body surface approximation. This is the formula that we use, rule of nines. Oh! Oh my God, surfers impressed me so much. Like, I have zero capability to do that. Wow. I have so many injuries probably from the waves, from the reefs, from the sharks. I'm sure there's like some sea porcupines or something. Oh God, the musculoskeletal injuries. I'm sure there's concussions too, because hitting water at that speed really bumps the head.
I don't know what just happened. I just wiped out really bad. I must have been going left. Got a big cut on my head.
The problem with hitting your head is there's a lot of vasculature there, so small capillaries, that if you make a cut there, you're bleeding a lot.
I just hit my head on the reef and I don't remember anything.
Oh, that's a serious concussion then. If he doesn't remember the accident, definitely don't go back in the water. Definitely take a few weeks off, follow proper concussion protocol with a gradual return to sport.
Whoa. Emergency.
He's going to get some sutures. I would probably assume that they're not going to do sutures. They'll probably do staples.
We're just gonna pull up here and probably get some staples, maybe a scan on my head.
I would probably encourage a scan in a scenario like this because of the mechanism of injury. It was a very hard wipeout. He did lose consciousness, doesn't remember. All of those are flags enough for me to warrant a CAT scan.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Did it hurt?
So that's just a little saline wash. They're washing out the wound. And the reason we use staples is because the staples can actually hold the wound together quite well. And with a staple remover, they remove even easier.
When can I go back in the ocean?
I would say dry for 24 hours.
What? 24 hours? I would say do not go in the ocean until cleared by your physician. You just had a rough concussion.
Much last Sunday, I was with Jeremy. We were filming a TikTok at the park. He texted me, he's like, yo, let's film a TikTok. And I was like, bet, let's do it. So we went to the park, we met up. We were gonna film mine first, then Jeremy's. While in the process of filming the TikTok, I was like, yo, like it'd be cool if I jumped off this playground and did some 360 trick shot for this TikTok. I'm like, cool, let's do it. It's gonna be really easy. So I climb up the playground, I get on top of it, I'm looking down, I'm like, okay, it's not that bad.
Oh my God, I'm worried about his ankle or his knee. Oh my God.
So I jump off, I do some like 360 with
Oh my
this Nerf
God.
gun in the
Oh my
air.
God. I'm gonna try and pause it to decide what's gonna happen. Because his foot is plantar flexed, that puts it in an unstable position, making it more likely to tear his anterior talofibular ligament. But also how his knee is bent also puts it in a precarious position.
Go.
It's knee or ankle.
Going to land, as you guys can see right there.
Oh, the ankle. So there is a ligament on the medial side of your ankle known as the deltoid ligament. The thing with the deltoid ligament is that it's a very strong ligament. And what usually happens is if you experience the trauma strong enough to break that ligament, odds are that ligament avulsed a piece of bone. So like broke off a piece of bone. And usually that requires surgery.
I was terrified. I was like, dude, my ankle snapped. I'm not gonna be able to walk for so long. Luckily, it didn't look like anything, but it hurt so beyond bad. I was like, dude, Jeremy, we have to go. I rushed to the hospital. I got there, had me waiting for like 2 hours in the lobby with a broken foot.
I know people say like waiting 2 hours, the broken foot is ridiculous, but there's people whose hearts have stopped. They need emergent surgery. So yes, broken foot sounds terrible, but sometimes triage needs to happen in a different order.
They then took me back and gave me an x-ray. Doctor walked up with my results. She took me to a back room and she sat me down and said, hey, your ankle is actually broken. And I was like, no. All the stuff I do requires my foot. So yeah, they're telling me that I should just need a boot, but I might need a cast.
Hard to know with that. You're definitely gonna need a consultation with a foot and ankle specialist. The ER doctor probably wouldn't tell you that. They put you in a boot and then send you to an orthopedic specialist. Oh no, is Logan biohacking?
Getting my own blood sucked out of my body, and look, it's trash. It's over there in those trash bags.
It's plasma, bro. It's trash. I mean, I know he's joking, but I hate these med spas that make all these ridiculous claims with zero knowledge of what they're actually doing. Do you know your body naturally does this and you don't have to pay for it?
I'm getting rid of the toxins. I'm flushing all the bad stuff out.
Liver, kidney, even lungs are considered a detoxification organ. And they work so well, so much better than a machine. There's so many signals that they're reading that the machine can't even comprehend those signals. For example, when it comes to blood pH, your body does such a good job regulating it that it's within decimal points of accuracy. You're doing great. Your organs are crushing it for you.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
This is the human equivalent of an oil change.
No, it's not a human equivalent of an oil change. A car does not fix itself. The human body is self-sufficient. That's why the body is a miracle. It's amazing.
I think health is wealth. I think you guys might know I want to live till I'm 150 years old.
I'm gonna have to break the bad news. I'm gonna have to break the bad news to Logan Paul that he's not gonna hit 150. Him and Brian Johnson.
We just feel like making this video would be the best way for you guys to understand what exactly happened in the past couple of days. So about a week ago, my stomach started hurting a little bit. 2 days later, the pain was still there and it was actually getting a lot worse to the point where I was losing my appetite and I was feeling extreme discomfort in my stomach.
The way that I like to teach folks to think about medicine, and I do this with my students and residents all the time, is as soon as we get the beginnings of a history, to already start twirling in your mind what is the leading thing on your differential, which is the list of diagnoses that could be to blame for the current situation. So I believe he's 20 years old or 20-ish years old, 2-day history of stomach ache that's not improving in someone of that age, knowing nothing else about past medical history, family history. The top of the list so far, because the severity isn't quite there, is gastroenteritis, like a viral gastroenteritis, which is basically a stomach bug. But now, depending on the development of symptoms, like where specifically it hurts based on the physical exam, based on nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, we could start making that differential grow and in different directions. So for example, if there's right lower quadrant pain, you're thinking appendicitis. More diffuse pain, perhaps there could be a colitis, which is basically an inflammation due to an infectious cause of the colon. If you're feeling the pain in your epigastric region, which is the middle upper portion right here, could be related to acid. Right upper quadrant could be related to gallbladder and gallstones. Again, pretty young and body habitus for that to be the case. But again, that's just how the medical mindset works here. But let's see what we find out next.
That night, I actually completely lost my appetite and I was feeling extremely nauseous because I hadn't eaten anything in the last day or so. I was vomiting fluids and a little bit of blood.
So that's already a little concerning. Nothing really to panic about, but worth getting medical care for, because in a situation like this, you're having trouble keeping fluids down. And when it comes to not eating, if you don't have an appetite because you have a stomach bug for a day or two, it's not the end of the world. But if you can't hold down fluids, that could put you at risk for dehydration, which could put you at risk for kidney issues, cardiovascular issues. So at that point, you'd want to go be evaluated by a doctor. He did mention that he had some blood in his vomit. It depends on the quantity of the blood that was noticed. Sometimes there's a tiny amount of blood noticed from the straining during the vomiting. And then if there's a tremendous amount, there's actually such thing as Borheef syndrome, where through bearing down and vomiting quite profusely, you could actually tear your esophagus.
When I got to the hospital, they ordered a CT scan and actually found that there was some fluid in my pelvis and my appendix was actually leaking and inflamed.
So what he's describing is appendicitis, and very frequently when there's appendicitis and you have inflammation, edema also forms, and that edema is representative of an acute appendicitis, which can warrant either urgent surgical removal or perhaps antibiotics, or sometimes both.
I immediately drove him to another hospital where he would receive immediate surgery. On the way there, that's when his appendix actually bursted, and I'll never forget this moment because I've never seen Alex in this much pain in my entire life. His face turned pale, he was shaking, he was sweating, he was screaming at the top of his lungs.
What he's describing is a septic picture, because what happens when the appendix bursts is you have this overload of bacteria into the abdominal space, and that abdominal space starts creating a massive inflammatory response, and you develop what's known as an acute abdomen. In a scenario like that, it's a surgical emergency. We got to get you to the ER for an operation as quickly as possible.
After the surgery, there were a lot of complications because he didn't have any food or drinks in his system in the past 2 days.
That's not necessarily a reason for complications. In fact, usually before surgery, we would like for you to be NPO, without food by mouth, for at least 8 hours. I'm not sure if that's just factually accurate.
He kept waking up and passing out because he was just so dehydrated.
I'm sure he was dehydrated by mouth, but remember, when you're getting IVs, the hydration is still happening. And the good part about IV hydration is it's very rapid, very quick. I'm sure he was dehydrated to some degree, but that hydration happens very quickly, and any potential acute kidney injury repairs quite quickly because he's young and otherwise healthy. And again, IV hydration works quite well. These are incredible survival stories. Click here, check them out, and as always, stay happy and healthy.